content, a blog, a forum, and when you want to add a store to your site, Drupal with UberCart is a perfect solution. 2 years ago, people were actually writing this. I'm posting one example here. There are many, many, many more examples that you can find on the internet. So WordPress wasn't the best platform to build a professional shop. But today, you can see the overall interest. This is the Google Trends search volume. The overall interest on e-commerce is decreasing, while WordPress eCommerce is gaining momentum fast. Since the release of WordPress 3.0, and we have custom post types and custom taxonomies, we're transitioning to a full content management system. Many more e-commerce plugins have popped up, have released since WordPress 3.0. Everything was much more simple once we had custom post types, once we had custom taxonomies. I'm working on WooCommerce every single day. I can't even imagine how we do it without custom post types or taxonomies. This is the current landscape, what we're looking at. I'm pretty sure I haven't even listed every single e-commerce plugin. We have two lightweights. I'm putting that between quotes, since Cart66 is a fully blown e-commerce solution, but it has less features compared to all the full stores. We have a couple of small plugins like e.g. digital downloads. It's quite new, and it's focused on a niche. It focuses on digital downloads, like the name says, and offers basic commerce solutions. We also have a couple of external integrated solutions on the internet. Both Ecwid and FoxyCart are officially not WordPress plugins, but they have a WordPress plugin that links the store to your WordPress website. But what we're going to look at mostly today is the list of full store e-commerce plugins. Both of the paid plugins, MarketPress and Shop, also have a free version available, but the fully unlimited version of both of those plugins is actually a paid version. Well, what are the differences between those full store e-commerce plugins? Release regularity. At WooCommerce, we try to release every 3 weeks a new version. Sometimes we do 2 per week. Sometimes we wait for a month working on a new, bigger release. Available extensions. What I'm trying to prove with this, many of the e-commerce plugins have a huge amount of available extensions. But maybe one of them has an extension that is the perfect fit for your store, which isn't available on WooCommerce, for example.
Kaylin, and you.
Community and contributors. I think everybody here knows how good, how popular the WordPress community really is. Plugins as big as the full store e-commerce plugins also have their very own community around them. We have a couple of contributors who contribute code, who contribute translation, who contribute external extensions to our software for free, for their own branding, and it improves our product, and it improves your e-commerce stores in the end. But how do we compare to dedicated e-commerce software like Magento? Magento is often referred as the Uber shop. If you can't do it with Magento, it's not possible. Well, because there are so many e-commerce plugins available for WordPress, you can benefit on everything that's good in WordPress. We love working with WordPress. WordPress is actually fun to use. Magento, not so much. I don't know if people here working with Magento. It sucks, exactly.
It takes 3 months to know where to go.
Yeah. I think I can read the average phone book faster than the Magento manual.
There is no Magento.
There isn't. But Magento is currently better for large sites, large stores. It really is. If you have millions of products, please do not use WordPress right now. We hope to be able to handle that in the near future. But if you want to do it now, please use Magento and start reading in that manual. The benefits of a WordPress solution, quickly highlighting, we have a fully powered, easy to use CMS. If you're familiar with WordPress, there's a better learning curve. You can work with WordPress, you can work with any e-commerce plugin out there. So you don't have to learn an entirely different system. And this is what I highlighted earlier. We have the community, we have the plugins, we have the teams, and everything is open source. 4 main points for WordPress. Let's look at the current landscape. What can we do with theming? How can we make our e-commerce store look like the rest of our WordPress website? Theme integration. Most e-commerce plugins work with any theme. Most e-commerce plugins have their own set of templates, which basically adapt the looks of your theme. You can override those template files from your theme. So when we upgrade our templates in, for example, WooCommerce, your overwritten templates will be safe. They won't be overwritten by our update. For every e-commerce plugin, there are specific themes available. Currently at WooCommerce we have 22 of our Woo themes which have the capability to run a WooCommerce store in it, so the exact looks match the rest of the theme. And most themes have actions and filters in place, so you can move around. For example, the checkout box of a product, you can move it below the thumbnail. Or maybe you want to add the cart button to the top and to the bottom instead of just to the top. With actions and filters, you can easily, well, depending on how advanced of a developer you are, but quite easily you can add everything you want in the themes. And the growth of all e-commerce plugins shows in theme stores like Theme Forest. Theme Forest has currently 1,752 themes available for just WordPress. A little over 10% is an e-commerce theme. That's quite a lot. They have only released their e-commerce category a little while back, and you can see people are massively investing on the e-commerce category. But what about extending your store? What if the default set of features of WooCommerce just isn't good enough for your store? Extensions add new features, and they add it to your e-commerce store. They add it to your e-commerce store just like a regular plugin does to WordPress. An extension to an e-commerce plugin is written specifically for that single e-commerce plugin. We currently have, I have to say it out of the top of my head, but I think it's roughly 200 extensions available for only WooCommerce. We have a bunch of payment gateways. This is just an overview of a couple of payment gateways that are available. These payment gateways are available to WooCommerce, but they're also available to JigoShop, to WP eCommerce, to roughly every single e-commerce plugin out there. So if you really want to add PayPal Express, you simply download the plugin It's an extension actually. You add it to your WordPress plugins directory, you activate it, and your e-commerce store allows PayPal Express checkouts. Same goes for shipping methods. FedEx, UPS, all sorts of shipping methods are available for all e-commerce plugins. You can add your store in Facebook. For your Facebook fan page, for example. Allow people to add a product in the cart right from your Facebook fan page. Or you can integrate it with gravity forms. Here you can see the options. Don't know if it's good visible in the back. But you can add options for a product, which for example add $100 to the price. You can make dynamic forms with gravity forms, link them to a product or a group of products, and the price will be added. You receive the new order in your email, which lists every specific detail of this product, and you can offer more customizable products. This is just two examples of one of our extensions. But what about security and hosting? I think everybody here heard about LinkedIn dropping roughly 6 million passwords. You don't want to happen that to your e-commerce store. Today there are WordPress specific hostings available. There are WordPress specific security companies available. They are here today. If you want to get in touch with them, please ask. Security is taken very seriously nowadays. You don't want to get your e-commerce store hacked. You don't want it to run on a crappy hosting. Please do not run your e-commerce store on a single $1 a month hosting. It is not going to work.
I'm sorry, on the what?
Single $1 hosting a month. There are web hosts available who cost, well, $12 a year. What about hosting? We have an easy to set up WordPress install. We add plugins, and that comes down to more memory usage. Again, the cheap host isn't going to cut it here. Please invest in a more advanced web hosting company. But still, it's nothing like the Magento hosting requirements. I don't know them. I don't want to know them. And now, as the final chapter of this talk, the future. What do you think the future of e-commerce and WordPress will hold? What will we be able to achieve in the next year with WordPress and e-commerce? We all know the famous statistic. I don't know if it's recently updated, but WordPress powers over 15% of the internet. Should WordPress power 15% of all e-commerce? I know there are relatively small shops already transferred from a more expensive Magento solution or some custom work, and they're already making the move towards WordPress. But what if we all focus for the next year to get this done? To get that 15% of the internet who calls themselves e-commerce, run WordPress, run JigoShop, run WooCommerce, WP e-commerce. Any plugin will do. Future of WooCommerce. Again, I'm picking WooCommerce as an example, but this basically applies to every single WordPress e-commerce plugin. We really appreciate your feedback. We really appreciate your contributions. It doesn't matter if you only have an idea that's just on the top of your head and you type it out and we start working on it, or you give us a chunk of code and we start working with it and integrate it in WooCommerce. We have lots and lots of stuff that we still want to add, that we are currently working on. and every single bit of code helps. I hope this was a quick introduction to the world of e-commerce. I hope this gives you thoughts for a discussion, a sort of Q&A related talk now, since there are, I hope, a couple of people working actually with WordPress and e-commerce. So I hope to have given you a brief overview of what's happening in the WordPress and e-commerce ecosystem right now. And I can dig in for hours, I think, but I want to approach a specific case, please. So,
two questions. One quick, which is if I use Headway as a framework, or if I were using Genesis or Thesis, whatever, does your e-commerce solution fit within that?
Yeah.
Is that a problem? Great.
Yeah.
Okay. The question that you might want to spend maybe a little more time on then. Coming back to what you were saying about don't use a cheap hosting solution, don't use yourself. What really should be the minimum requirements to be able to do this? In other words, what should we be looking at in terms of the type of hosting? What are some of the specifics that we need to consider?
Yeah. As I mentioned, WordPress has its own hosting companies right now. Well, WordPress doesn't have them, but there are specific hosting companies who specialize on WordPress. They have advanced packages for WordPress. What it roughly means is the average $1 web hosting runs you on a shared environment with 32 megabytes of memory. That's not enough. It is enough for a standard shop, but once you do advanced calculations, when you want to do a massive import of 1,000 products, your server will run out of memory and simply refuse to handle that request.
What are the minimums, and what should we be looking for? 32 megabytes is not enough?
No, yeah, well, it's hard to give you an exact number, since, well, 32 megabytes will work for a two product shop that will never do an import. But on the other hand, if you have 2 gigabytes of memory and start importing thousands and thousands of products, maybe you will reach another limit. But if you have a hosting company that allows you to allocate 128 megabytes of memory, that is, well, I dare to say that that will work. For WooCommerce, that is, since I know the technical details of that. Officially, WooCommerce has the minimum requirements the same as WordPress has. So we test them on a machine that has the same memory amount as WordPress requires. So it really depends on what you are trying to achieve with your store.
You probably heard of Facebook having difficulties potentially with mobile. How is mobile coming with e-commerce? And what's the future of mobile and e-commerce?
Yeah, indeed, it is a very upcoming market. The mobile e-commerce use. It's really out of the scope of all the solutions for WordPress and e-commerce, since it applies to all of them. It's wrapped around them. It's basically a theming thing. You need to make sure your theme is capable of handling a mobile browser. Well, most of the themes do that today. But have you ever tried filling out an advanced checkout form on your mobile phone? Well, we can really improve on that, let alone payments. Payments are really complicated to make it happen on a mobile phone. And I think we will advance in that. We will checkout forms will become simpler. Once you have an account, you only have to enter your email address and your password. But for a digital download, for example, I do not need nor want to enter my address details, for example. It's really hard to pinpoint where we are going, but I know it's going to be more simple to do a checkout on your mobile and to do the actual payment on your mobile. Not really an answer to your question, perhaps, but
It's in direction.
yeah.
It's not ready yet.
No, it's not ready yet. We're getting there slowly, but I'm sure we will get there in a year, maybe two.
I have right now a regular HTML website. I have 2 products. I'd like to move on to WordPress for it. But I'd like to stay with my payment gateway, which is CC Now, because they enter their credit card information off of my site. So I don't have the liability for their information. Now, would WooCommerce support CC Now or outside payment gateways?
Yeah, we do. All of our payment gateways are roughly divided in 2 halves. We have on-site payments and off-site payments. You get redirected to the payment page and returned to the store once the payment is completed or failed. And we have the on-site payment gateways where you simply enter your payment details on the site. Also requires an HTTPS certificate in most cases. I do not know if we currently have an extension available for your payment gateway. I have to check if it is available from an external extension developer, but I'm pretty sure if you run it from your current situation, we can make one that will work with WooCommerce.
Okay.
One thing, she probably has the same issue. PCI compliance is a factor to think about, but when you use a plugin versus a theme, does that shift the PCI compliance?
No.
Still on whoever,
Yeah.
on your business owner?
But yeah. Basically, if you have PCI compliance needed for your site, if an extension has an on-site payment details where you enter them, your site has to be PCI compliant, and when you move it to another site, well, redirected to PayPal, for example, PayPal Express, all off-site payment gateways. I don't know about liability, but I do know that they have to be PCI compliant then, and not your site itself.
Right. So in your experience, what's the best method? Was there a threshold that people have to reach before that is pretty much anybody accepting it, right?
Yeah, I think it totally depends on what the average order amount is.
And shared hosting doesn't normally have, they're not PCI compliant.
No.
So you have to go to dedicated or VPS.
Yeah.
for that, so.
Even some dedicated hosting isn't necessarily.
Hi, I'm a little confused. Do you choose WordPress and a theme and then plug in WooCommerce? Or with WooThemes, do you go there first and pick the theme and it uses WordPress? And could you also explain again how to make it capable to sell from an iPhone?
Yeah. Basically, it goes both ways. WooThemes provides WooCommerce as a plugin, and WooThemes also provide themes. But you can also buy a theme or download a free theme from somewhere else and install it on your WordPress install. It all comes together at your WordPress install.
Okay. All right, so it starts from WordPress and then
Yeah.
you add on.
Yeah.
Very good.
WordPress is always the base of where you start with plugins like this.
Okay, and I am working with a retailer who I hope is going to allow me to get her website redone because it's horrible. And her motivation was she's discovered that she cannot be purchased by someone with a mobile phone. And so I didn't quite hear what you were saying about that. Is there capability with this to make purchases from a mobile phone or not?
Yes, there is, but it's hard. That was what I was trying to explain here.
So are there non-Woo products that you would suggest can be added to make that happen?
Well, it is the main view over a mobile checkout. If you have an advanced form which lists address, country, state, phone number, email address, and you have to type that all in on your mobile phone, people will leave your site from there because they simply cannot do that. Well, they can do that, but it's hard on a mobile phone. And that's the trend we are going in right now. Checkout forms are going to be more simple. Payment gateways are going to be mobile friendly. So you can actually pay with an app in your phone, or you can pay by entering your PayPal credentials on the site itself. But it's in progress now. We don't have an exact target where we're going to, as long as it's more simple in the meantime. Yeah, well,
Yeah, you need to wait for like PayPal to have better mobile offerings, for Google Checkout to integrate better with
Yeah.
Google Play. So that like my Android phone already has my credit card. So if Google Checkout integrate with Android Pay, then I can just click one button and it buys it. And then also Apple doesn't have really like an e-commerce gateway solution, like a way
No.
to buy anything but apps and things in their stores. I don't know if they will, but that would be smart.
No, that's true. I think it's not. It's not in our hands.
It'll work, but it's hard.
It's
Yeah.
more the payment gateways that need to start supporting mobile devices. It's not. We can make the checkout form as simple as we can. We can narrow it down to only email address and perhaps a password. But still, the payment gateway, that is the hardest part to overcome with mobile checkouts.
Thank you.
Does, sorry, right next to each other. Does WooCommerce integrate with Aweber?
Aweber,
It's the email list, one of the email list management.
yeah, we do have an extension for that links the Aweber plugin itself with WooCommerce. It simply sits in between and makes sure everything is linked. It depends on what you're trying to achieve. For example, people checking out also being added to a list.
Yes.
Well,
yeah,
I
that was
believe
the-
it is standard a standard feature for that plugin. But yeah, well, I really have to check.
Okay.
I guess as far as like the mission of like dominating in e-commerce for WordPress, do you have any examples of sites that are doing a good job of that right now? At this
On
point in
WordPress.
time? Yeah, at this
Yeah.
point in time.
Well, the thing with that is they're really hard to find still. Me and my two direct colleagues in Woo Teams, we have been looking and we decided not to show them here because they were simply not impressive enough from the outside. We know what runs on that website, so we think it's cool. But just based on a screenshot, it's not going to amaze everybody here, as I hope the rest of my talk will. Yeah, there are. We have roughly 200,000 downloads of WooCommerce. Can't give you an exact number of what stores actually use WooCommerce or any other plugin. But there really are, we have people in the support forums that are actually trying to import thousands of products in their stores. We are working, one of my colleagues, Scott, is in the back. We are working every day with customers who are actually using WooCommerce in their stores. So yeah, it's a moving transition. People are still making the switch from for example, the basic HTML websites from a Magento website, all coming down to WordPress. But I do not have the wow factor in a single store right now.
I mean, as far as it, like thinking about an industry like fashion uses Magento, like that's what they use. And if you could get one fashion site that you could cite as a case study that people know, that could be a tipping point.
Do we already have WooCommerce sites in our showcase?
I'm not that familiar with WooCommerce, so
No, I get it. Well, I have to check it.
Yeah.
We do have. I do not know them out of the top of my head, but there are.
Yeah.
I can give you 10, 20 examples of
Sure.
sites already.
I'm talking about like, because WordPress, like, you know, TechCrunch runs on WordPress, you know, you have like these, you have this name recognition, so like, I guess the challenge would be to get a major player to be using.
That's our goal for the next couple of years, that the big players are also moving from whatever they have to a WordPress e-commerce store. Scott?
Well, we just have 7 sites in there, so it's not that.
Well, I have to dig in the support forums to check it, but not just the wow factor, but we're getting there.
Mm-hmm.
Of all the Woo themes, which one would you say would give you the cleanest slate to prepare a branding
Canvas.
canvas?
Recently released version 5, fully responsive, updated to the latest WordPress functions. Cool. Period. Sorry?
What was the name of that?
Canvas. Canvas. Yeah.
How difficult is extension development? I have a client who would like to add a gift registry to their store.
Yeah.
Is that something that can be done pretty easily with those full plugins?
Yeah, the first plugin that actually got me involved with WooCommerce is roughly 150 lines of code.
Okay.
So, well, it's not complicated. It's a trick you have to learn to work on all actions and filters that are in place in WooCommerce. You add a payment gateway, you add a shipping method, you add options panels. We have actions and filters available for everything. We have documentation on that. So it's not harder than creating the average WordPress plugin.
I was going to say, do you know how WooCommerce stacks up against Virtumart or any of the more mature shopping carts like that?
Virtumart isn't WordPress, right?
No, Joomla. I mean, like Virtumart and Uber Cart.
Everyone complains in Joomla with Virtumart.
Yeah.
Everyone usually complains about it.
Well, this should move from Joomla to WordPress in the first place, but I do not have knowledge on what the feature set is from that plugin. But yeah, we power the basic set of features is available, plus much more. You can basically run every single store on WooCommerce, given the fact that there are extensions or you have the ability to create new functionality yourself. But to answer your question, no, I do not know enough about Virtumart.
Can you talk a little bit about like conversations that go on for new functionality, if it should be a module or integrated into the core of the plugin?
Yeah.
Do you find, second question, like Vala, do you find that like the business of the extensions, that those are paid for and the core is free? Does that kind of muddy up those discussions? That you
No, not at all. If we think, I'm trying to think of an example that we recently did in the same way. But basically, if we use the 90% versus 10% rule there, if it is of benefit for 90% of our users, we add it to core. If it is not, extension. We have, on your first question, we have the main Woo IDs board, where people can actually enter a new feature request and other people can vote on it. Most people first contact us. Hey, is this a cool idea? Yeah, it is. Please post it on the ideas board. Or yeah, that's amazing. We will start working on it right away. But yeah, it's difficult to exactly outline the process of, hey, we have a new idea. Is it going to be core or is it going to be an extension? Really depends on what the idea is and who is available to create it. Is it an external extension developer who wants to make it? Do we want to do it ourselves? Yeah, we get, I think, 10 feature requests a day on GitHub of people just asking, hey, can you add this? Hey, can you add that? Yeah, you should check it, how we do it. It really depends on what the request is.
Those conversations kind of go down on GitHub, like the feature requests, and then people are commenting on it. That's
comments. If it is roughly 3 categories. First one, no, we're not going to do it, but you can't. But you can add it to the Woo Ideas board. If more people like it, we'll reconsider. Second is, yeah, we're in the planning stages of it, and the third is the most awesome idea we've ever heard. Please start working on it right away. And the first one, that's it, case closed. Please go to the Woo Ideas board. Second one, maybe it's a conversation via email or maybe in the GitHub comments. Yeah, there isn't really a guideline for that. We try to do what's best for the idea, for the people involved.
What about CRMs? How do you handle customer relationship management?
Depends on what CRM you are using, but we have a bunch of extensions linking, like the Aweber plugin, who link WooCommerce plugin to the CRM in your example. It depends on what CRM you are using. For example, you want if a new customer checks out, you want to add its contact details to your CRM. Or we also have external extensions that use that take over the invoicing procedure, or just do the shipping methods outside of WooCommerce. You can basically hook in wherever you want, get the data out of it, and do it in your own way. I do not know if we have a great example of a CRM that currently does that with WooCommerce, but yeah, it's possible. It really depends on your use case, what you are trying to achieve with it. But contact details synchronization has been done multiple times.
I got another question. Sort of that question made me think of, do you have affiliate marketing extensions?
Yeah. Yeah, and also commission extensions, so you can add 10% of all income go to an external factor.
So I've got a fairly newbie question here, and this is for people who probably sell one or two things that you make. And you know, I make a bag and I get an order every week or something. It's just a hobby, really. And I don't want to be a pain in the neck because I've got another life. So I just have a simple HTML at the moment site which I want to convert to WordPress. I'm just using the PayPal merchant buttons, which are a bit sort of, I don't like the way you have to paste them in the various places, you know, right? That seems weird to me because I used to be a programmer. This is weird. And then the fact that they're very limiting, but it kind of works. It seems like the money comes in and I send out the bag and no one complains. So I think it's working. But what would I do if I wanted to use WooCommerce for this? Also, when they buy it, I wanted to put an email address somewhere. Right now, I just do really paste their email in my address book, my Mac mail, which is pretty lame. And I just have that, you know, in my mail. How would I manage that briefly?
Well, I can quickly show you how the back-end order system of WooCommerce looks like, if it is working.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, are you going to show us your product?
Yeah.
That's right.
Have to start my local web server real quick.
I was told you have to pay for add-ons, is that correct?
Yes. That's basically the business model of our WooCommerce extension, of our WooCommerce plugin. The plugin is totally free. You can use it, do whatever you want with it. But once you want to do any of our, premium extensions, we also have free extensions, by the way. But our paid extensions are, well, goes in the name. They are paid. Yeah.
And what would they include, for instance, examples?
Depends. The PayPal Express checkout, for example, UPS shipping, FedEx shipping. Yeah, it totally depends on what you're looking for. Facebook tab, Gravity Forms integration.
Okay.
We have over 200 of them.
Let's say we wanted 5 of them, approximately, what would the cost be? Let's
Yeah,
say
well,
just the ballpark.
Sorry?
Is it a one-time fee or is it continuous?
Yeah, no, for all the extensions, one time.
fee.
Yeah. This is really slow right now. This is the order management. Well, gotta be the order management. Perfect example. Slow host, slow store experience. Please do not do that to your customers. Always the fun part of a live demonstration, never works. Okay, this will load. This is the main WooCommerce menu. This is the products menu. This holds, just like Posts or Pages does, this holds all your products. This holds the WooCommerce settings and also the orders, the list of orders. Well, here we go, slowly getting. But what I was trying to show is when a user checks out, actually buys one of your products, it is asked to enter its contact information depending on what you want to know of your customer, and it getting back to your email address example, it stores it within the order. You can see, for example, I'll show a bunch of my test orders. This is order with ID 89. It is sent to me. This is my email address. If I click on it, I will get to see all the orders made by that email address. So it basically automatically replaces your manual email archive. Is that what you were?
Yeah, and now
trying
if right, and if you want to email these people once in a blue moon, once a month or whatever, how
Yeah, well, that comes down to the question about Aweber. You can add them to an email list, for example.
like iContact or something.
Yeah, for example, if an extension is capable of adding all those email addresses to your external email client, newsletter service, you can email them from there. It's not something we offer from the default set of features in WooCommerce. We offer external services to use the email addresses, but it's not something we do ourselves.
I had another question, if you don't mind.
No.
Regarding like the payment gateways, is there any, they can, I've used Cart66 a lot, and you have to pay the payment gateway separately from Cart66 to get that working. Is there any solution where, let's say you had a small store, you don't really need like to pay the $20 a month for the payment gateway. You always have to pay like a payment gateway. That's the only way to run e-commerce on your site.
We have PayPal standard, the default set of a PayPal checkout. We also have, I show it now. Again, do not do a live demonstration. We also have pay on receive. We have we have a bunch of payment gateways that are available as a default feature. So you don't have to buy an external payment gateway. You can add them because we have a bunch of like PayPal Express, PayPal local pickup, it's called, for example. Not everybody uses it. So again, the 90 versus 10% rule, not everybody uses it, so it's not in core, but it is available as an extension. So you don't need to buy them if you don't need them. And there are payment gateways available by default.
It's just, I guess, if you buy the payment gateway, you get a better rate, I guess. That's the.
Well, depending on what your store is about. If you, we have a lot of customers from South Africa, for example. They have, I do not know their names out of the top of my head, but they have a bunch of payment gateways that are only suitable to South African customers. They do not use PayPal there. They do not use any other gateway that is commonly used in the United States, in Europe, or any other country. They only use it there. So if they want to support that payment gateway on their site, they have to buy that extension.
Question, some
These
marketing
are the default set.
Some marketing experts suggest, and it sort of makes sense without like actually testing it, that if on your web page, on your checkout page, if you offer multiple methods of paying, like if you have PayPal and Amazon payments and Google, all available, pick the one you like the best, you're more likely to make more sales. Have you seen that part of the doing of this as to whether there's actually any truth to that?
Yeah,
it makes sense that it would be, but.
Yeah, there are a couple of sites actually using that. WooCommerce allows you to enable, if you want to enable 50 payment gateways, do it.
Can you give me an example of one of those sites so I can see it? No, I'm serious, because it's visual.
I'll just continue clicking here. I think I have a bunch
Well, just
of
tell
them.
me, I'll go, right.
No, but I can show you. I do not have direct examples.
Okay.
Here's the checkout.
Right.
Time's up.
I have, for example, direct bank transfer, check payment, or cash on delivery
I see.
enabled now. And I can switch with them, whether it's PayPal, if it is any other payment gateway, or 50 of them, or just one, and it will be auto-selected and you can't change it.
What do you mean by fork? Sorry. Fork.
Sorry, 1 second.
Could you recommend a theme, like the other lady who asked? She has 1 or 2 products. Most of these themes I see are more for the variety, dog products, kids products, camping products. what if, like, she has one very unique product, I have one product, it's an invention, it's patented, there's nothing else like it in the world, I think. And what type of theme would just emphasize that one product and its special, what's different about it?
Well, we have one for Wood Teams. Scott, do you know Jay made it?
I missed the question, what was it?
The very simple theme for a single product or maybe two products. I will check it for you in a minute. I do not know its name. It's one of the Wood Teams themes, I believe released 2 months back. Yeah, it's perfectly suitable. By default, it is used to highlight software products, but with a few minor CSS tweaks, you can make it to whatever product you would like to sell. And it's targeted at a single or maybe two products.
If you're just selling one product, there's a you can get like a Woo theme or any other theme, and if you just want to embed it in a page, you can use a thing called ShopLocket, which is a online service that you just take the code and put it in. Just for one product. It's very simple.
Thanks.
What's the name of it again? ShopLocket.
ShopLocket. Thank you. ShopLocket.
Could you spell it, please?
Lock it or rocket?
Locket.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't have a list today.
Like a tip list?
There was one more question here.
Oh, I was just saying, are we looking at a Woo theme store effectively?
Yeah, this is WooCommerce.
So for example, I'd have my web page that says, here's the thing, and buy, and when I hit that, it goes to this.
Well, this is one step further. This is the checkout actually. This is, by the way, the default 2011 theme with nothing done to the templating of WooCommerce, and you can see it works in it. If I go back to the products page, I have a bag in multiple colors, one of my famous test environments. I added to cart. Let me show you the better flow. I added to cart here. I get a message here, product successfully added to your cart. You can continue shopping, you can go back, you can also use directly click to the checkout. It really depends on what you use in your navigation, if the links are available to your checkout, to your cart. But here the button brings you to the cart. You get an overview of what's in your cart with an image, the title, the unit price and the quantity. You can also calculate your shipping from right here. So it will be added to your total already on the cart before you're actually on the checkout. And then you proceed to your checkout, and that's where you enter your contact information. You get to review your order, and you choose your payment gateway.
So if you go PayPal, it does it within there, it won't go to PayPal site.
Well, depending on you, well, PayPal is always off-site.
Yeah.
If you select PayPal here, click place order, you will be redirected to the login page of PayPal. You complete your purchase there, and then you will be redirected back to the thank you page in your store again. And your thank you page will register that you either paid or the payment failed from PayPal.
So I suppose ideally it would be all in the one environment, ideally.
Yeah, it's possible. We have payment gateways that enable you to do the full checkout here. You get to log in, you get to enter your credit card details, for example. But it's...
Wasn't PayPal Pro? It allows you to do that, right?
Yeah, PayPal Pro does that.
And you have a PayPal Pro gateway, right?
Yeah.
So you can do that right within the brand, right within your page. You're not taking somebody's experience involved.
The downside to that, or well, more technical difficulty to that, is your site has to be PCI compliant. You have to have an HTTPS certificate.
Oh yeah, we're all doing it on the cheap.
Yeah, well, if you want to do it cheap, just use the basic PayPal checkout. It comes with WooCommerce by default. You enable it, people select PayPal here, click place order,
go out.
Redirect to PayPal, pay, get redirected to your site, and they purchase your product.
So why would you use this over, say, something like Shopify? How does this compare to Shopify?
Well, Shopify...
It's a monthly fee.
Yeah, it is a monthly fee.
And they take a percentage. And it's not WordPress.
Oh,
exactly.
Okay, so it's a different, it's another...
If I had to pick between Shopify and this install, default 2011 theme, no WooCommerce extension, it will cost me, except for the hosting, it will cost me $0. It works better. it looks, well, arguably better, but yeah, well, it's WordPress. This is WordPress. Shopify isn't.
Shopify is like only the store.
Yeah.
So, you know, like this, you can still do a blog if you wanted to.
Yeah.
You know, you can do a gallery if you wanted to. You have all those other options, like you said, with plugins and.
It says all these pieces, and you got to work out what
Yeah,
you want to
exactly.
use. And
Exactly.
like,
Just real quick, that thing we're talking about is capital.
Capital T.
Capital T.
Capital T.
Capital T, yeah.
Thanks, Scott.
How's the international e-commerce, the capability in terms of payment
International
and shipping?
multi-language stores, for example.
I mean shipping to
Really depends
location
on your
and
shipping method.
yeah, shipping method, modules and.
Well, for example, I know FedEx and UPS, they have different rates from international shipping or local shipping, and they even have specific shipping methods within the FedEx circle. So you can select a higher rate that is delivered within 2 to 3 days and a lower rate that is delivered a week later. But the same goes for international shipping, but it totally depends on what shipping method you are actually using and if the shipping company supports international shipping. But it is possible. You just what I just shown here, calculate shipping. It actually asks for my country. Well, this store is currently limited to United States only. If I select United States, I get to pick my state. Well, for example, Alaska. Well, I know a zip code. Let's put it to Washington. And I can update my totals. And if I have, which I really hope, otherwise this is the last demonstration I will give live here. I will get a payment shipping rate back from whatever shipping method is active here, based on this information, United States, Washington, with this zip code. And if the base location of this store would be in the Netherlands, where I live, it would be pretty expensive to ship to Washington. So you would.
Right.
Here we go. Errors. Never mind. Yeah, it is possible, but totally depending on what shipping method you are using.
Yeah, and payment method. As you just mentioned, in South Africa, there are different, you know,
yeah, but that's not.
than here.
I think
PayPal.
I can create an account at one of the payment gateways for South Africa, but well, I think, but I wouldn't benefit from that. It's easier for me to pay with PayPal because more stores offer checkouts with payment via PayPal.
So as you know, PayPal is more popular, I mean, almost worldwide.
Yeah.
Say if I want to sell something to Vietnam,
yeah.
The people there, they don't have international credit card, they don't have American Express, Visa, then how do they pay? There is a way for them to pay through PayPal or something?
Yeah, well, it totally depends on your use case. It's you can add the PayPal payment gateway, but you can also add a small payment gateway that allows your customers to pay on delivery, for example. It's not limited to WooCommerce or to the location, but it's all in the payment gateways and in the shipping methods. If they support shipping to Vietnam, if they support payments from Vietnam, it works. And yeah, well, it's a little bit hard to explain, but yeah, it really depends on what the gateways and the shipping methods support.
That's it.
Do you have discounts, couponing and such on there as well?
Yeah.
And can you do it both in terms of percentage off or dollars off?
Yeah, both. Yeah.
How about currency conversion?
Yeah.
Do you have that as part of the default core, or is that an add-on, or what is?
We have.
Because there are things I know you can change the whole site to be in pound or yen or whatever.
You can.
Do you have that capability?
There is an extension that can allow checkouts in multiple currencies, so you can select the currency that you want to view the site on as a visitor, as a customer. And it calculates, currently calculates the exchange rates from a fixed formula. But yeah, it is possible. But when you change the base currency of your store, it will change $50 to 50 euros.
Great.
So you will enter them once for a single currency, and if you want to add another currency to your store, it will either calculate it manually, so you add them for dollars and euros manually, or you have that extension calculate them for each user specific for that purpose. Yeah. Yeah. It's a Dutch gateway. That's my girlfriend. She's joking. That's actually the first payment gateway that I made for the WooCommerce. It's the example I mentioned, 150 lines of code that got me into this WooCommerce thing. But yeah, Ideal is perhaps the example for you. It only works in the Netherlands, only for Dutch customers with Dutch bank accounts. So that is very much limited, but it's widely used within the Netherlands. If you don't have Ideal payments on your shop in the Netherlands, you won't sell anything. So yeah, it totally depends on the location and the payment gateway again.
I think the reason why they put it in because I used to work in foreign currency exchanges, because it can change by the day, so you wouldn't want an arbitrage situation to come up on the internet.
Exactly, that's very hard to do automatically. Well, final question.
Subscriptions.
Sorry? Subscriptions.
Yes.
I'm not going to spoil the surprise right now, but it's coming. It's not there yet. Very close.
So you can do recurring, like monthly charges?
Yeah.
When?
So it's not.
No, not spoiling the surprise. Very close. No,